Most of us that decide to start a business do so for two main reasons. Number one is to make more money, and number two is to have more time and at least more freedom with your time, right? You want to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And the sad thing is many small business owners have neither of these, right? They don't make more money because there's a ton of expenses and things they didn't estimate, and just calculations don't work out to be what they actually thought it was going to be. And then number two, they don't have a lot of time because they're always working for clients. They're always trying to work on their business. They work these 80-hour weeks, and neither of those two things have to happen. That is just a sign that you don't correctly know how to run your business, and there's still things you need to learn. Because if you run your business correctly, you will both have more money than you could ever think possible working in a corporate job and more time. I'm at a place in my business now, after not being there for a while, where I both make way more money than I've ever made and work way less. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because in this video, I'm gonna help you learn what you need to think of your business as and what you need to do as a business owner in order to achieve those goals that got you in business in the first place, right? To make more money and to have more time. And generally what this framework is gonna be is a good way for you to look at your business that will allow you to identify where the issues are in your business that if you fix will create those two outcomes for you, right? More money and more time. So here's what this framework looks like. There are two primary roles that you can play in your business. And there's nothing scientific about this. This is just how I look at my business and how I get clarity on my business and what I need to change. So there are two primary roles. There are employee roles and owner roles. And if you are a small business owner and it's just you, right now you are doing all of those roles. And if you have a team, maybe you're doing less of them, or maybe even you've delegated all of the employee roles and you are now truly just the owner. But either way, this is how we want to look at our business. And so in this video, I'm going to break down each of those two roles, what category of employees you have as a real estate media company, and where you're at. That way you have a much better framework of how to fix your business. And I'm going to also identify common issues that occur within each of these roles. So that way, once you figure out what those roles are in your business and have a better idea of what your business looks like, you'll be able to avoid and diagnose some of these issues. So from a 10,000 foot view, I'll dive into each specifically. The owner role, I want to define at the start as only having two parts. Number one is you decide what you want the output of the business to be, right? So you decide what the business is doing, what you want the result to be in terms of the money you want to make and the way you want to do that, right? So you determine that as the owner. And then you also determine, part two, is who is going to run the business. That is the only thing you do as an owner. Everything else you do for your business is in an employee role. So jumping over to that for a real estate media company, there's really, if you're a solo operator, probably 5 jobs that you're doing right now. You're doing the job of 5 different people. At the top, you have the CEO. The CEO is obviously responsible for what's going on in the business, all the daily activities, finances, everything like that. Then you have marketing and sales. That could be 2 people, but it's really just one, right? The growth of the business. And then you have the admin, whoever's answering the phone, emails, organizing the schedule, doing everything like that. And then you have the quality control and editor. Those can be 1 or 2 different people. Who's editing the photos, what that's looking like, how they're getting delivered to the client. And then number 5, you have the photographer itself. So if this is just you right now, you're doing all 5 of those roles, or maybe you've hired out the editor, right, and you do everything else. And so this is how we're gonna look at our business. And in the next 2 sections, I'm gonna break down mistakes you can make in the owner role and things to look out for and identify as maybe potentially being an unlock for you in your business. And then on the employee side, I'm gonna break down common mistakes that happen with each of those, as well as the 5 of them together. That way you can leave this video with an action plan of how you're gonna make your business better and get to the point where you both have those 2 things, right? More money and more time. So first, we're gonna cover the employee side of things, what the common mistakes are in there and things to look out for. And so the first thing, and this is probably the least common, but it does exist, is you are not a good employee, right? You're doing stuff not adequately. And so you want to look at all of the 5 employee categories that you can have, or employee types, and ask yourself. I'd encourage you to write down who's doing it in your business. If it's you, write down your name next to all of them. If you've outsourced some or all of it, write the person's name and go through it. Is the photographer or photographers, are all of them good? Is there anybody that needs to be changed or fixed or more improvement made? Cool. Quality control, is that an efficient process? Am I doing it well? Is that person doing it well? Is there room to be made, improvements to be made, right? So then you go to admin. Is that person doing a good job? Are they friendly with customers? Are they upselling well? Are they scheduling efficiently? So those are all things you want to go through with your admin, right? Sales and marketing. As a sales and marketer, if it's you or if it's somebody else, are you good at it? Are you doing the job? Are you doing what's required in that job? Are you making improvements and knowing that's a big center of improvement for your business? Is that a focus in your business? And then number 5, are you a good CEO? Do you control your business or does it control you? because the CEO's job is to control the business, not the owner's job. The CEO's job is to control the business, to hire the right people, to manage the finances. So think about that. Are you doing good on that side of your business? Do you have extra cash flow? Are things super tight? Are you always trying to, as Jared at my team calls it, financial jujitsu, making sure you can make payments because things are so tight? And so I want you to break down those. And the first thing that could be wrong is you could be bad at one of those. That's usually not the case. Moving on to the second thing is more than likely you're not bad at one of those, they just get neglected. And so if you look at those 5 things again, usually the CEO and the marketing and sales role get neglected, right? You don't do those. Not that you're bad at them, you just don't spend enough time doing them because you spend so much time doing these other 3 roles: admin, quality control, and photography, quality control, editing, and photography, right? And here's an interesting thing. The reason most people are really good at those 3 and bad at the other 2 is because your boss, your clients, forces you to do these 3. They don't care if you do these 2. Right? And so what happened is you went into business to be your own boss and to build your business, but you're just not a good boss. You're an absent boss. So you're letting the clients tell you what to do. That's why you always show up for shoots, right? You always have projects back to your clients. You always do edit requests, but oftentimes that comes at the expense of the other stuff you need to do in your business. And so that's a good sign that your CEO role is lacking, right? Because you're not prioritizing the things that you need for your business. You're letting your clients dictate what you do, and that is somewhere a lot of people get stuck. And so if you find yourself working a lot of hours, maybe you're making good money, but really the trap here is you spend so much time working, your business isn't improving. It's more than likely because you're just being a bad boss for yourself, right? So you're doing everything for everybody else and nothing for your business. A quick workaround on this side of things, because I think this is one of the most common issues, is you have to treat the tasks that you want to do for your business with the same level of importance. So you would believe easily that a shoot going to when it's scheduled on time is important, right? You're never gonna miss that, but you'll easily book a shoot over sales and marketing development, stuff like that. And so you just have to make a mental switch. And I'll talk about more at the end of the video, what I do to make sure both get done. But that's probably one of the most common issues on the employee side, especially if you find yourself working a ton, right? Is you're doing everything for your customer, nothing for you, because you're not able to get enough money and get enough growth to be able to hire it out so you can step back. So consider that. Another angle on kind of the same topic is maybe you're doing all of these jobs, but you're working a ton of hours still. And the reason is because you struggle delegating. And a lot of times this looks like, I think only I can do it the right way, or nobody can do this job, or it's gonna take me so long to train somebody to do this job. So if you find yourself talking through excuses like that, know that that is probably the biggest bottleneck on your business. And again, we're trying to, everything we do result in 2 things: more money and more time. And so I want you to think about if the belief is something you want to let stand in your way of achieving that goal, right? If you actually want to work more hours because you don't believe that someone can do this, or if you want to take a pay cut because you don't believe that someone can do that, is that belief worth you restraining your business? This is another one that is super, super common. Next, we'll move on to the owner bucket, the things that you can do wrong as the owner. And there's a bunch here, but ultimately the thing I want to start with is the capacity of your business to meet those 2 goals. So the capacity of your business to make you more money in a way where you don't have to spend as much time is directly tied to your capacity as a person. And so the more you learn from other people and learn from your own experience, and you build yourself into a more capable person, your business will follow that. Your business is never going to outgrow your capability. And so if you're not making a focused effort on improving your own capability through learning from others and through learning from your own experience, your business is going to be permanently capped. And one thing I've noticed in my life is about 5 years ago, I made the change to focus on learning more from others. So I joined coaching programs, masterminds, I go to conferences, I make a point to network with other people who have either my level of business, slightly below it, or above it and what I want to achieve. I focus active effort on that. It's a significant use of my resources, both my time and my money, and that has correlated to a massive growth in my business and the capability to operate multiple businesses that are all growing fast. And so the first thing you want to consider is, do you prioritize that, right? And that's the first thing you have to consider as an owner. The next thing is, do I actually have my business structured in a way that's going to result in the things that I want? So if your goal is more money and more time, but you're prioritizing yourself in all the other roles instead of delegating, you're not being honest with yourself, right? We kind of talked about this in the employee section, but you are letting a belief stand in the way of what you want out of your business. And so when we talk about the business owner role, I said there's kind of 2 things you have to do. Number 1 is, what's the output of the business? And number 2 is, who's going to run it? So you have to really think through those things. What is the output of the business? Well, right now, if I want the business to make 20K a month and it only makes 12K a month and I am fully booked, right? I can't do anything more, then I have to expand myself. And so I think a lot of people get into the business with the idea of, I want to make more money and I want to have more time, but they don't ever think about it again. They just keep serving clients blindly and not thinking. So your role as a business owner is really to make a point to step out of being an employee and think, what is going on in my business? what can I fix? And the next thing along those output lines is, if it's your job to determine the output of your business, you also have to figure out how you're gonna get to that output, right? So like what inputs are gonna be required. And one thing we really often see, and this is if it's just you running things or if you have a team, is lack of clarity into what is actually important for the business and translating that to your employees and empowering them to be able to work on those things. So we'll take this as a solo operator first and then as a team. So as a solo operator, what that looks like is you're not prioritizing, we talked about this a minute ago, the stuff that actually you need to grow your business and to take your business forward, right? You're making a conscious decision that serving your clients is the most important, and that's why you let your clients book over growth stuff, and why you book everything for your clients, but you book nothing for yourself. And so if you're a solo operator, that's probably the case. You have to wrestle with those limiting beliefs and figure out if you can actually align yourself with what your goal is on that. But then if you have a team, here's the other thing. It's really easy to not structure a team or not hire a CEO, and if the CEO is you, like it probably is, you're the problem, right? You need to grow. But anyway, you have that CEO empowered to not work towards that. So that CEO maybe spends all their time hiring photographers or training quality control or working on admin, but they put very little effort and very little money and time towards the stuff that's actually gonna make you grow, right? That's why you see a lot of real estate media companies. This was mine at a time where you had like 6 photographers, an admin, a QC, and a CEO, and no sales. There was just like a back idea that the CEO was like gonna do that when he had extra time, but like you didn't put effort in that. And so look at your business. Have you structured it in a way that's actually gonna allow you to meet your goals? Because if your goal is growth and it's bigger than it is now, you're gonna need sales. And so if sales is on the back burner, it's never gonna happen, right? And so really just stepping out of your business is the main thing that you wanna do as the owner role and say, okay, what do I want out of my business? Is my business built in a way that's gonna allow me to achieve that? And if not, what changes do I need to make either to the leadership, maybe swapping the person, maybe that's you need to step out, or how can I improve that person as CEO? What can I do, or what language can I translate to them to run the business more effectively? And so the main thing with the owner role, the main mistake is never thinking about it. You just are in your business working. You don't take a step back to say, what do I want out of my business, and think of your business as an investor. And the last thing I'll leave you with is you can think of a business and employees within a business as an asset, right? They are an asset to your business. And just like with any asset, they can be managed properly or very badly or somewhere in the middle. And your success is ultimately going to be moving them to the more correctly managed category, right? So if we think about a rental house, if I had a rental property, I, as the owner, could pick bad management, right? And maybe that means doing it all myself. That's still a form of bad management because you can't, right? I could pick the wrong tenant. That'd be like the CEO, letting the wrong employees in there. I could mismanage the property and not keep up with repairs, keep on innovation and keep trying to find more clients. That's the way to associate it. And so it's the same with your business. You have to think from the owner role, you think of your business as an asset. What can I do to make this asset produce more money for me and produce more time if your goal is to get as much time back if you're not there yet? So I encourage you to go back through, write these 2 roles, write down all of the subcategory roles for both owner, which would be the output of the business and also who's going to run the business. Clarify your thoughts on those, like literally do this exercise, write those down. And then on the employee side of the business, write down those 5 roles. Start from the top: CEO, marketing and sales, admin, quality control and editing, and photography. Write down all those if it's all you. And then I want you to go through and think clearly about each role and what can be improved. And if you do some of those roles currently, if you're anything but an owner, how can you make a plan? Again, if your goal is more time, you're gonna have to do this. How can you make a plan to transition that role to somebody else? What would it take? And that's the secret, right? It's getting clarity on where your business is and each thing that your business, each function of your business that contributes to your end goal. And that is the fast secret for how you get more money and more time out of your business. If you're interested in growing your real estate media company, and like I said, you're willing to learn from other people and want to make these changes fast and grow a business quickly, whether you don't have one yet or you already have a business, I highly encourage you to click the link below where you can apply to talk more with my team. And we can share more info about how we help you launch your business and supercharge your business if you already have one towards meeting these 2 goals, right? That's the whole point. Make more money and have more time, and that is what we are focused on. So apply if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video.